What's going on, Helldivers? I just wanted to quickly make a video just talking about the new patch that came out this morning. So it's minor patch 1.000.100. I just wanted to cover some of my personal feelings about the patch and just kind of inform you guys so you know what to expect when you log back in today or tomorrow. So the biggest things that I noticed, armor it seems to be working more appropriately. So light armor, like we've all been running, I was getting just mopped up because also the breaker shotgun, the shield generator backpack, and the railgun have all been nerfed semi to shit. Like the backpack was, expending shield in like 1 or 2 hits, and the hits that I was taking with my light armor were massive. I'm talking the small guys are killing you in 2 to 3 hits now. So it's pretty rough out there. The railgun specifically I found to be absolute trash for the purposes that I used to use it for anyway, and I'm willing to bet most of you used it for. So like, for example, Bio Titans, I used to mop those guys up, and maybe a little bit too easy, 1 or 2 headshots, and they were down. A couple shots on the Charger's arm exposed the flesh. Now it's not even very viable. The Bio Titans, you're not killing it with the railgun, in my opinion, or I'm trash. The Chargers doesn't even affect their shield plating anymore, from my experience. I mean, I was unloading entire clips into their arms, and you're just watching the railgun ricochet the bullets away. So railgun, shield generator backpack, a little too heavily nerfed. I'm going to tell you right now, from my experience, it's kind of impacted my fun in a negative way, which sucks. But I am going to try out some different kits, and I think that's the silver lining to all of this. Is I'm going to be using some things that I have not even touched since, starting the game, or since, turning level 20. So I'm going to play around with some new kits. I'm also going to play around with some of the different armor options and see if maybe there's a new meta that brings back some of that fun. But for right now, railgun and shield backpack are, in my opinion, kind of useless now. I didn't really notice the nerf on the breaker shotgun, but it seems to just be a decrease in magazine size from 16 to 13 and increased of recoil. I didn't really notice too much of that hit, so I'm not necessarily upset with the breaker shotgun nerf. Although I do want to try some of the other weapons and see how viable they are. So I'll be honest real quick. From my perspective, the game has been immensely fun. I felt like HellDiver has been difficult. However, it was very much still doable from a solo player's perspective. Now, I don't only play solo, but I do enjoy being able to play solo and get through some of those higher difficulty missions. Granted, I'm not necessarily clearing the entire map, but being able to do the main objectives and maybe a couple of the side objectives and get out of Dodge with some samples in my backpack on HellDiver difficulty all by myself was awesome. But I'm feeling like that's less possible now than it has been, and it makes me very sad. One of the biggest challenges that I ran into was, obviously there's been a big nerf on eradicate missions to where and obviously it was getting abused, right? I myself abused it for medals, experience, reposition slips, whatever. But the idea being, I was hoping that they would maybe increase some of the time on it, which they did. Now eradicate missions require a lot more kills, but they just made it more difficult as well, and it's not fun. Whereas eradicate missions before, I don't know about you guys, I could run those back to back and just have a blast, just doing the same thing real quick, in and out. And so it was rewarding, but more importantly, it was fun. Like, you were enjoying farming. And I think that's a big thing to keep in a game, in my opinion. Now it just felt like, the eradicate mission that I played on, granted, wasn't on the automaton side, it was on the terminid side. But as a solo player on HellDiver, that eradicate mission was impossible, not happening. So I had 5 lives. The map felt even smaller than it normally is, which is problematic. And And as a solo player, I couldn't do it. So you needed 500 kills. I got to maybe about 150 before my 5 lives were wiped up and I failed the mission. So it just felt like I was bummed out, you know. And I get HellDiver supposed to be difficult, but once again, it still should be doable from a solo player's perspective. So that's a challenge for me. What I wanted Arrowhead Studios to kind of do with these, you know, balances was more so bring other things kind of up to par where it made more sense to use them, as opposed to bring the stuff that everyone was using down to the crappy stuff's level. Like, for example, I don't know if you guys have used the scythe primary weapon, like that laser beam, whatever. That thing's trash. Like, I don't know. I could barely get kills on the small enemies, let alone the mediums, or definitely not happening on the large ones. And it just felt like that needed to get buffed, not the good stuff get nerfed. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Those obviously aren't the only changes. It looks like they're trying to make the 380 millimeter as well as the 120 millimeter orbital barrage relevant, because as we all know, that thing was useless. You would throw it, most likely you're killing yourself and your teammates because those spreads were huge. It never hit any of the intended targets that you wanted it to. So now they've increased the duration of the bombardment. So to my understanding, that means that there's going to be a few more rounds of bombings. I'm hoping that they didn't just delay the triggers longer, but there's also a decrease in the spread, so making that tighter and hopefully making it relevant. Because even the video for the 380 millimeter, like on the stratagem video, if you guys have watched it, it's like, who the hell is using this? Guy's standing on a mountain miles away. You can't even see any of the enemies because it's not even in render different distance, and this thing's just blowing up buildings around it, hitting some trees off to the side. It's like, why the hell would anyone use that? We're never in a situation where we're 5 million meters away from our enemy base and just launching, you know, this attack in there. But in any case, so it looks like they're working on that. So overall, my notices here is that the railguns unfortunately over nerfed. The shield backpack is unfortunately over nerfed. I think I'm going to be running the jump pack for a little bit just to see how I feel with that. But also, I'm going to be trying out the medium and heavy armor, because apparently that's been one of the biggest fixes. So I was getting mopped up, I was wearing my light armor, and maybe that was a big piece. So I'll keep you guys posted on some of my findings on that. But let me know in the comments below what you guys are thinking. If you've played on this new update since it came out this morning, I want to say it was maybe 11 hours ago when this update launched. What are you feeling? Are you happy with the changes? Do you think this is going in the right direction? I'm very curious to get your guys' feedback here. And as always, we've started our HellDiverHQ.com website. We have our Discord up and running, and this is all brand new. So the community is not big, but I'm hoping that you guys will see it and start helping me build out this community, because this is exactly what I want it for. I want us to be able to chat about, you know, where the game's going, and hopefully impact the decisions of where the game goes in the future, because I do love this game. It surprised me, came out of left field, and now I'm just kind of wrapping my whole life around this thing. You know, creating videos where I wasn't before. I've created a website, which I've done before, but not to this extent. So hit me up, and yeah, let's see what we can do with this community, guys. I really appreciate any sort of feedback you guys give me, and I look forward to seeing you in the Discord. All right, have a good one, guys.
Oh my God!